Hello, everyone. Good morning to you, good afternoon, good evening, depending on whichever part of the world you are tuning in from. And I'm so grateful for life and glad to be with you here this morning as we take a fresh new look at the financial market. Thank you for waiting, and I really appreciate your understanding. I had to sort out some technical issues so that we can have a better experience out here. I'm so excited to welcome you all to our first edition of the Forex Morning Mastery with Sheriff Daramola. As usual, I have conducted a comprehensive price action based technical analysis utilizing simple and fundamental parameters such as trend lines, key levels, and of course, chart patterns to extract valuable insight from the historical price movement of the assets on our watch list for this week. And of course, for those who have been with me on this channel, you will definitely have gotten this assets that we are going to be looking at for this week. We have the GBPUSD, we have the USDJPY, and of course, we also have the XAUUSD, which is popularly known as the gold spot. So for this week, we are having three assets on our watch list, and I already done the top-down analysis on this asset and how we are going to be position ourselves ahead of this week. And for those who are yet to watch that videos, please, you can check them in the description box below. I have the links right there. So it is very important that you watch them, as it will give you a background knowledge of what we are talking about here and how we got to this point, because basically what we are going to be deliberating on during the Forex Morning Mastery is right on the 1 hour time frame alone. So if you do want to understand how we got to this point, then it is necessary that you watch those videos, and at the same time it could be an educational tool for you in your proficiency in price action analysis. Please let me know in the comment section if the sound quality is good. If the visual too are good, please let me know in the comment section. I really appreciate your feedback, as this will let me know if things are going quite well or I need to do some adjustment to make things a little bit much better. So thank you in advance, as I expect your feedbacks as regards to the audio visuals of this video. So with that being said, here we are going to be diving right into the business. Now, before I go into the business, for those who are joining us for the first time, you might be asking that what are we doing here? Well, what we simply do here is to come together in anticipation of both the London and the New York session, where we look out for trading opportunities, manage our existing position, and at the same time strategically position ourselves ahead of the London and the New York session. So we do this on a daily basis. Normally it should start 8:05 a.m. The streaming should start 8:05 a.m. UTC on a daily basis. So I implore you to be part of the session. Stay tuned in, and of course be part of the subsequent sessions. I trust me, the more time you spend with us, the better you get to understand how things works here, and at the same time be able to use the information you gather here to make your independent trading decisions. So once again, you're welcome. So with that being said, here let's dive right into the business. And as usual, the first thing we are going to be doing this morning is to check on the economic calendar to keep tabs with the fundamental factors in the market. We all know now by now, for those who have been with me for a while, that these fundamental factors often manifest on the chart in technical patterns and price movement. By monitoring the economic calendar, we can easily identify potential correlations between key economic releases and specific technical patterns, hereby giving us valuable information that will enable us to position ourselves in such a way that we can catch any potential trading opportunity prior, during, and even after the event. So what we normally do here is to focus on high impact event coming in from the economies that affect the asset on our watch list. And for this week, we are going to be focusing on high impact events from economies such as the United States, the United Kingdom, and of course the Japanese economies. So on the economic calendar, we do not have any high impact events for today. But since today is the beginning of the week, and most of the time when we don't have high impact events, I always ensure that we look at the medium filter in the medium impact and see if there is something that we can at least use as a yardstick to position ourselves ahead of today. So what I will be doing right now is to include the medium impact event, and let's see if we can see anything from both the United Kingdom, the United States, and of course the Japanese economy. So including the medium impact event here, it's quite clear that there are no high impact or medium impact event to look out for. So we shall be relying on our technical skills to identify potential trading opportunities for today. So as usual, we are going to be diving right into the first financial assets on our watch list for today, which is of course going to be the GBPUSD, and in fact we already have a sell position triggered on the GBPUSD, as you will see here. So for those who are with me on both my TradingView and Telegram platform, you will definitely have gotten this update on how we want to be positioning ourselves ahead of today's trading session. And this morning, while I was trying to dissect the current market structure following the video I shared during the course of the weekend, I was able to notice that there's been a consolidation phase going on in the market since the beginning of the week. And one thing that I also observed here, remember we had this ascending trend line which I was able to spot, and in fact if you look at the nature of price action on the GBPUSD in the last about almost 3 weeks now, price has been very indecisive. It has been range bound, where we have seen a oscillation of price action within a range for an extended period of time, hereby giving us an insight into the level of indecision in this market. The majority are thinking that price will rise based on the GDP data we got about 2 or 3 weeks ago, which was actually very positive. It came in beyond expectation, giving us clue into the expansion of the United Kingdom. But with the following data that came in after that GDP data, it wasn't that impressive, and the Bank of England also increased interest rate. These are parameters that are supposed to push price to the upside, but unfortunately it didn't happen. So there is likely going to be some need to wait for confirmations to happen before we jump into any position. Then for those who are with me on both my TradingView and Telegram platform, you would have seen the setup. I shared this morning. I have this ascending trend line which was spotted, and the fact that price remains above the key level for the week, which is situated at the 1.271 area. Now, in addition to this parameters we identified, we spotted this range where we noticed that price action was initially confined between the 1.275 and the 1.27250 to emphasize the level of indecision during the early hours of this week. Now, normally when we have this kind of flat channel, you know how we do it in this community. We want to wait for a breakout or breakdown of that structure to give us an opportunity to either sell or buy. Now, with the scenario we have here, price action just broke down the 1.27250 level to give us a bearish signal at this point. And for those who are taking advantage of this opportunity, well done to you for capitalizing on this move. But there is one thing I would like to mention here, is that we need to be very careful, as the breakdown here doesn't necessarily mean that price action will be going to the downside. So we need to really be very careful so that when price moves significantly well in our favor, we move all stop losses to secure this position. And if we look at what is going on here, we have about how many pips right now we have about 12 pips in profit. So I will suggest that if price move about 3 more pips, breaking down the 1.271 a little bit, we want to be moving our stop losses to break even level, so that in case price action respects the key level and the ascending trend line one more time and climbs up, we will be taken out at a worst case scenario of break even. Now, for those who had missed out on this opportunity, there is another way through which we can capitalize on the downtrend if the market decides to go bearish. Now, since we already have a breakdown of the descending of that support line at the 1.27250, we expect that at some point in time price is likely going to come back, retest that structure to incite a downtrend scenario. And if this happens, we want to be part of that bearish move to the downside. So if you had missed out on that first one, let's see if the market will come back to retest that structure to incite the downtrend continuation here. Then if price action goes on to break down the 1.27100 area, which happens to be our key level for this week, then we want to be looking out for more selling opportunities below that structure. Now, if we are going to be selling below, you know how we use our key level in this community. When price action breaks down our key level, we want to be looking out for patterns and structures that will support the idea of selling that asset. Now, if price action goes on to break down the 1.271, of course, we want to be looking out for more selling opportunities there. So for those who had already joined earlier, you can have your sell stop order below the 1.271 to capitalize on that downtrend continuation. But if this is your first position, that is, you are coming in on from a clean slate, then you might want to wait for retest of structure before we jump into any position here. So this is how we are going to be selling the GBPUSD for today. So let's continue to wait and see how the market will be reacting to this current market structure. And for buying opportunities, you know how we do it here. We also want to keep tabs with the opposite direction too as well. But before I talk about the bullish expectations here, I want to acknowledge the lower highs that we have been witnessing here since last week Thursday. So if we connect the series of lower highs, we have a descending trend line that we are going to be using to guide our trading activity for this week. I think I missed this morning. It wasn't in my publication earlier today, so I would like to give this a red color and then do some little adjustments so that it can capture the pivot highs here. So as long as price still remains below that descending trend line, we shall feel comfortable in our sell positions while we also look out for more selling opportunities. And of course, this trend line here will help us to be able to position our stop loss level. Remember, every trade we take here, we ensure that we have a stop loss in place. So at this point in time, our stop loss will be anywhere above that above the descending trend line, which will dovetail to between 20 to 25 pip stop loss on this one, which is not bad for this position that we are in right now. So in as much as we're looking out for selling opportunities, we cannot ignore the potentials of buyers too as well. And what is it that we will see on this chart that will make us consider buying? Well, for me personally, before I could consider buying the GBPUSD today, I would like to see price action take out both the descending trend line and that key level, and that resistance level at the 1.275 before I want to start considering buying. So for me to buy now, I would like to see a breakout of structure, price retest structure, and then I want to be joining that bullish move. Now, if we are going to be buying at the breakout of structure, retest of structure should be looked out for on the lower time frame. So you can scale down to your 5, 10, 15 minutes time frame to look out for the retest of the structure. Then look out for signs that sellers are finding it difficult to stay below that descending trend line and the 1.275. Then we can join that bullish move to the upside. But trust me, I will be with you in the comment section of both my trading view and Telegram platform to give you updates as at when due. So if I see any signs that buyers are likely going to be taking over this market, like higher highs and higher lows within that range, then I will be sharing that update with you in the comment section of both my trading view and Telegram platform. So this is my view here on the GBPUSD. So you do want to be marking out those levels on your chart so that you can be able to use them as a reference point to guide your trading activities for today. So if you have any questions whatsoever as regards to my explanation, or you need me to do further clarification at some point, feel free to let me know in the comment section. So I will be taking the next 10 to 15 seconds to see if there are any questions whatsoever, while you can also use that time to mark out those levels on your chart, as you will be needing them to make your independent trading decisions for today. So I see your comment, Adeni Babalola, Richard Blackett, and KMS Kadawatag. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Don't mind me if I didn't. Sorry. Thank you for your confirmations. I really appreciate, and thank you for your compliments. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your feedback. So, in the absence of no questions, I want to assume that we are all on the same page here. So we shall be moving right into the next financial asset on our watch list. So the next asset on our watch list is my favorite. That is the gold spot. That is XAUUSD, popularly known as the gold spot. And in fact, we have a very interesting scenario going on right now, as there is an indecision going on here. We have a situation where buyers are trying to break through, and also sellers are negating the bullish attempt at this point in time, hereby giving us an indecisive phase at this point. Hence, we need to be very careful and wait for our structures to mature before we jump into any position. And for those who are with me on my TradingView and Telegram platform, you will definitely have gotten an update as regards to what we are going to be looking at for today and how we are going to be managing our position for today. So I would like to run through my commentary on the XAUUSD quickly so that we can all be on the same page together. So I shared an update this morning about an oh, sorry, this is not it. This is for last week's trading session. Okay, so here we go. So this is what I said here this morning as regards to how we are going to be managing our position for today. So I said here that the current market environment appears subdued, with price action confined within the range of the 1,891 and the 1,885 zone, highlighting a prevailing state of indecision among market participants. It's noteworthy that trading remains situated beneath the identified descending trend line in the video, further underscoring the possibility of a bearish momentum materializing upon a breakdown and retest of the 1,885. Conversely, should price action successfully break out, retest both the descending trend lines and the 1,891 zone, we will be preparing for potential buying opportunities. This intricate market dynamic will be dissected comprehensively in our upcoming live session. So let's go right into the live chat and deliberate on this. Now, the first thing you will observe here, for those who had watched my video on the XAUUSD, I remember that we acknowledged that price action has been bearish for some time now. If you had not watched that video, please do. The link is in the description box of this current video you are watching, so that you can have a background knowledge of how we got to this point, and at the same time, you can use it as an educational guide to maximize your proficiency in price action analysis. So the first thing here is that price action has been on a very, very strong bearish momentum, and as a result of that, we have connected a series of lower highs here to give us those descending trend lines you can see on your screen right now. And for the fact that price still remains below the descending trend line, we have no business buying the assets. So as long as price still remains below the descending trend line, we don't want to start considering buying at this point. However, there is something interesting about the structure which makes things a little bit skeptical at this point, and that is the 1,885 level, which happens to be the lowest point price action has been in a very long time. And if you look at what happened when price action tested the 1,885 last week Thursday, we saw buy pressure resume around that area. So despite the strong lower highs we've been noticing so far in the last 6-7 weeks now, we saw how the 1,855 stopped sellers. Sellers found it difficult to break through that structure. The same thing also happened this morning, as you will see during the early hours of today. We saw as soon as price got into that structure, we saw an engulfing bullish candle snap out of that zone, giving us a sign that that area could be a very strong platform for buying potentials. So at this point in time, we need to be very careful, as we want to have this in our mind that the 1,885 zone could be serving as a potential reversal move, where it will lead to the breakout of that descending trend line for the first time. And in fact, if price action breaks out of that descending trend line, this will be a clear signal that that trend line may no longer have the capacity to continue to negate that bullish attempt. And if this happens, then we want to be getting ready to buy. So now with the scenario we have here, in addition to this one, I was able to spot a range this morning where price action was initially confined within the 1,891 and the 1,885, as you will see here, to give us a flat channel to work with. How you know how we do it in this community? When price action falls into a range like this, we have no other choice than to remain patient, waiting for price action to break out or break down of that range to give us an opportunity to either buy or sell. Now, in this case scenario, the only condition that will make us want to sell at this point in time is for price action to take out all the buy positions along the 1,885, which of course would reflect on the chart as a breakdown of that structure. So a breakdown retest will definitely be a beautiful signal to join a bearish move. Now, in as much as things are looking very bearish, remember we would always consider the potentials of buyers too, and considering the strong 1,885 level, which has been a strong memory for buying power in the last 3-4 days now, there is a tendency that we could have a breakout of the 1,891. And if you look at the structure here, the market has already given us a sign that there is potential that buyers could break out of that structure, as we saw what happened during the early hours of today. Though price did come down immediately, but it's a clear sign that the tendency of a breakout is still there in this market. So as a result of this, I want to be positioning myself above the resistance line at the 1,891, where a breakout of that structure will be welcoming a buy position for me, and hoping that price action will continue to the upside. And one thing about the breakout of the 1,891 is that if price breaks out of that level, it would also break out of that descending trend line, which would be a sign that a trend line may no longer have the capacity to continue to negate that bullish attempt. And if price action continues to climb and find new highs, then another breakout of the 1,896 will be welcoming more buying opportunity. And interestingly, that level also shares a confluence with the second descending trend line, which will be a beautiful opportunity to add more position and of course maximize the potential of that bullish move. So this is how we are going to be managing our position here. So it's a very simple setup that we are going to be using to guide our trading activity for today. So you do want to be marking out these levels on your chart, as you will be needing them as a reference point to guide your trading activities for today. So let me do a quick recap of what I said here, a summary in short. So we have the 1,885, which has been a very strong buying niche, as we saw how sellers have struggled around that area since last week Thursday. So if we are going to be selling here, we want to see price action break down that structure before we can even consider selling. Now, if we are going to be buying at this point, I told you that we are looking at an area above the 1,891, as we already have a sign that the tendency of buyers breaking out of that level is still very possible, as we saw here this morning. And it also shares a confluence with that descending trend line, where a breakout of the descending trend line will be a good signal that price action, the trend line, may no longer have the capacity to negate that bullish attempt. So that is our view here on the XAUUSD for today. But if there are any interesting and significant setup that comes in along the line today, I will definitely get you updated on both my TradingView and Telegram platform. So these are my views here today. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to let me know in the comment section. So I will be taking the next 10 to 15 seconds to see if there are any questions whatsoever, and you can as well use that time to mark out this level on your chart, as you will be needing them as a reference point to guide your trading activities for today. All right, so I can see some couple of comments here. Akinola Bisoye, good morning to you. Glad to have you around. I've been seeing you. I think I saw you on Telegram. I've been seeing you around anyways. I'm glad to have you around. And you're asking, do you have students? Yes, I do. I do have clients. I don't call them students anyways. So I have clients where I have a program which I have designed specifically for a one-to-one mentorship program, where you get to have a one-on-one session with me at least 2 or 3 times in a week, where we deliberate on the market and try to see how we can move you from just analyzing the market to consistent profitability. So there is one thing I've come to realize in trading, that there is more to analysis. There is more to analysis, and it's majorly about psychology. And for us to understand the psychology of a trader, we need to ensure that we have a well laid down plan using our journal. Of course, very important. It's very, very important. Trading journal is very, very important, as it helps us to understand who you really are and how we can tweak your approach to the market to move you from the level you are to the next level. And if you are interested, you can contact me one-on-one, send me a mail, or chat me on Telegram, and of course we can see if we can work together. But this program is basically for traders who already have a basic understanding of the financial market. If you don't have the basic understanding, then I will suggest that you do some reading and spend more time to understand what is going on in the market before we can come online. But let's talk and see if we can do something together. Abdul Jimo, thank you very much for your compliments. What time frame do we look for retest? Abisoye is asking. Well, for this situation here, we already have a breakout here on the XAUUSD, so we don't need a retest to happen. We already have a breakout, so we can just place our buy stop order above that level to capitalize on the uptrend continuation. So a breakout has already happened, but most of the time when we are looking out for retest of structure, we normally look at it on the 5, 10 or 15 minutes time frame. Just look out for signs that sellers, if it's going bullish, that is, if we have a breakout of structure, we just look out for signs that sellers are finding it difficult to drop back below that level, which of course would reflect on the chart as a reversal pattern. It could come in the form of a double bottom, head and shoulder pattern, or falling wedge, whichever case it may be. Then you can join that move to the upside. So that is how we look out for it. Akinola Abiso is asking, where do you put your stop loss? Well, I've suggested here that for you to buy above the 1,891, you want your stop losses to be anywhere close to the previous low, which is around here. That's about 45 pips. So anywhere around 45-50 pips will do if we are buying above that area. And if price breaks down the 1,885, then our stop losses will be close to the previous high or the descending trend line, which will dovetail to about 50-55 pips on that one. So that is how we are going to be doing that. I hope I made myself clear. Adini Babalola asking, okay, happy to see that you thank you very much. In fact, I'm not even aware of that. I'm just seeing it now. Thank you very much for the support. I think I have something special for my subscribers very soon. I never knew it has got into that. That's great. Thank you very much, guys, for your support. So I think in the absence of no question here, I want to assume that we are now on the same page here. So we shall be moving right into the next asset on our watch list, which of course is going to be the last one for today. So the next asset on our watch list is the USDJPY. Now on the USDJPY, we already have a buy position triggered. Sincerely, and price action is currently moving with about how many pips now? About 21 pips in profit at this point in time. Now, what is it that we said this morning as regards to the setup? Let me run through our commentary. For those who are with me on the TradingView and Telegram platform, you would definitely have gotten an update in that regard. So let's run through this quickly, and then we'll go back to the live chat to talk about this. So this was my commentary this morning. This was where price action was. So I said, while the significance of the identified descending trend line in the video continues to shape price action's trajectory, we acknowledge the prevailing uncertainty at this juncture. Trading dynamics remain within a range confined between the 145.490 and the 145.150. Presently, the price resides above the trend line, signaling the potential for a breakout of the resistance level at the 145.490, which could prompt buying opportunities. Nevertheless, we remain vigilant of potential selling pressure, emphasizing the importance of maintaining awareness and readiness in our approach. So this was our structure this morning that we are going to be using to guide our trading activity. So we were looking out for buying opportunities above the 145.490. Now, if we look at the live chart right now, remember, if you had watched my video on the USDJPY, remember that we acknowledged the descending trend line here, which was holding selling pressure since last week Thursday, as you will see. And of course, I made mention that we're going to be using this to guide our trading activity for this week. And if price remains below the descending trend line, we'll continue to look out for selling opportunities where the breakdown of our week's key level at the 145.00 area will welcome more selling opportunities. Remember that we have our key level here, and you know how we use our key level in this community. As long as price action remains above the key level, it makes quite a lot of sense looking out for buying opportunities here. Now, we saw another condition here. We saw another parameter here, as we saw price action was indecisive initially through the first 6, 7, 8 hours of the week, as you will see, caught within the 145.490 and the 145.150, giving us an indecisive phase there. And one thing we noticed here is this engulfing bullish candle coming out of that range, which is a clear signal that buyers are getting stronger at this point. And one interesting thing about this bullish engulfing candle is the fact that it broke out of the descending trend line, you'll see, and that will be the first time price action will be breaking out of that descending trend line in the last 3 to 4 days now. And that also led to the breakout of that range too as well, which further emphasized the strength of the buyers at this juncture. Now, with the situation here, a breakout of the trend line happened. We saw price action came back to retest the structure. We saw a lot of buy pressure around this area, and that was the reason why I said we should position ourselves above the 145.490 to capitalize on this uptrend continuation. And as we can see right now, we are in profit already with about 20. How many pips did I call it the other time? I called it 21 pips in profit at this point. So we want to be moving our stop losses to our entry point right now, secure those positions so that the worst case scenario that could happen here is a break even. Now, in addition to this is this ascending trend line I just spotted right now, which is right along this. If you connect the series of higher lows here, we have an ascending trend line to work with. And of course, this is going to be one of the parameters that will be guiding our trading activity for today. So let's do some adjustment here so that it can capture all the pivot lows. So we have it right here. So that's beautiful right there. So what this simply means here is that as long as price remains above that ascending trend line, we shall continue to look out for buying opportunities at this point. So there's still a tendency of a retracement to happen. Please let's note that price could still come, so we don't need to panic. So if price still comes within the ascending trend line and the 145.490, the appearance of buy pressure will welcome more opportunities here so that we can continue the uptrend scenario at this point. Then a further breakout of the 145.650 will welcome more opportunities. Now, to capitalize on trading opportunities above the 145.650, there are two ways to which we can capitalize on that move. Now, for those who are already profitable, that is, if you are taking advantage of that opportunity here, then of course you don't need to look out for breakout. Just have your buy stop order above the 145.650 and ride that momentum all the way to the upside. But if you are joining us for the first time, that is, you missed out on this one, then you will need a confirmation before jumping into that move. So probably something like a breakout retest of structure, then you want to be joining that uptrend scenario. But most importantly here is that as long as price still remains above this ascending trend line, we shall feel comfortable in our buy position on the USDJPY for today. Now, in as much as we're looking out for buying opportunity here, remember that we also want to keep tabs with the potentials of sellers too as well. And what is it that will happen on this chart that will make us start considering selling? Now, remember that for the last 1 week, price action has been, the last 3-4 days, price action has been on a bearish momentum. Hence, we cannot ignore the potentials of sellers too. Now, for us to look out for selling opportunities, I would want to see price slice through that ascending trend line. So when I see a slice through of that ascending trend line, it will give me a sign that we might likely be seeing a momentum shift. But remember that we are not going to be getting too excited there. We are not having a self-stop order there, as we would need some confirmations to happen before we jump into that position. So if price breaks down the ascending trend line, the next thing we want to be doing here is to move to scale down into the lower time frame. It could be your 5 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes time frame, to look out for signs that truly sellers are really going to be dictating the pace going forward, and this would reflect on the chart as price coming back to retest either the ascending trend line or the 145.490 to incite a downtrend scenario. So this is the only condition that will make us want to sell the USDJPY, but I doubt this will happen today. But if it does happen, we want to be on standby to capitalize on that move. So let's continue to hold on to the bullish bias here as long as price still remains above our ascending trend line. So this is my simple view here on the USDJPY for today. So our center of focus is basically still within that 145.650 and the 145.150. So let's mark these levels out, mark these parameters out, as we shall be needing them to guide our independent trading decisions for today. So I wish you best of luck on this one. And it's on this note I would want to call it a day. Before I do, let me take the next 10 to 15 seconds and see if there are any questions whatsoever as regards to my explanation so far today. We are able to talk about the talk on the GBPUSD, the XAUUSD, popularly known as the gold spot, and of course the USDJPY. So if you have any questions, the table is yours. For the next 10 to 15 seconds, I will be checking my comment section to see if there are any questions whatsoever before we draw the curtain for today. And I forgot to mention, if you have found this content helpful and useful in making your independent trading decisions for Today, I would greatly appreciate your support by giving the video a thumbs up. Your likes are valuable to me, and in fact, it also helps the YouTube algorithm to push the video to a wider audience of traders who may find this content beneficial. Thank you in advance for doing so. And that also reminds me, I have the XAUUSD live monitoring window will be coming up in about 2 hours from now. I think 5 to 10 minutes into the New York session. I think I have the link ready. So let me just pull out the link and share it with you in the comment section right away, so that you can just click on it, click on the notify me button, and you get notified as soon as I come online. So hold on a second. Okay, here we go. I just found it. So XAUUSD live monitoring window. So here we go. I have it in the comment section already. So you can click on it, click on the notify me button, so you will get notified as soon as I come online. So the XAUUSD live monitoring window is a platform where we monitor the XAUUSD real-time live here on Sharif Daramola's channel. So we are going to be trading it together and see how today is going to go on that asset. So I look forward to seeing you right in the comment section on that one. So thank you guys, I really appreciate it. Okay, Akinola Bisoye says, okay, no problem, I will check that out and get back to you in no time. All right, everyone, it has been a wonderful moment here, and thank you for the support, thank you for the likes, and I look forward to seeing you in the comment section of both my TradingView Telegram platform and of course the XAUUSD live monitor window as we continue to monitor price action. Do have a wonderful evening, everyone. Bye bye.